here. Good evening. I hope we have an easy and smooth program for everybody. So we'll have some inspiring individuals to speak. I'd really urge you, I know you're young and you're restless, and this might feel like a classroom, but I would urge you to listen. Even if you get 10% out of today, I think it's still beneficial. So we have good individuals that will want to talk to you. And we're keeping it short. It's like 10 minutes each, and then I'm sitting with some young ladies, and we'll have a nice discussion with them. So we'll start with enjoying where we are, the Zayed Future Energy Prize. So thank you for coming here at the PM time. And what I wanted to also start with is what it means to be young. And of course, if I put this question on my Instagram, I'm going to get 1,000 different answers. But I guess to me, I would say being young is being full of potential, full of hunger, I hope. Not hunger for food only, but for life. And to do things, and to be very hopeful. Because some people, the older they get, the more pessimistic they become. So young is more optimistic, and I hope that stays longer and longer. To talk about more about sustainability. Sustainability is a very big word, I would say. Some people might think it's complicated, some might think it's not, but it can mean so many different things. And I'm sure if I ask all of you, you're going to have different opinions on it. And we can talk about recycling, we can talk about education, we can talk about health. So many ways to be sustainable, correct? For me personally, one of the most, let's say, interesting experiences of my life is I worked for an NGO for 2.5, 3 years, and we worked a lot with UNICEF and Save the Children and these organizations. And the cool thing about our organization that was based in the UAE was we approached humanitarian work in a sustainable way. So whether we provided solar panels, whether it was vaccinations or education, which was the main focus of the organization, we provided education. And I want you to think why education is important. And I'm talking about the basic primary education. Why is it important? Because the moment I educate you or you're suddenly enabled. You can send an email, you can write a CV, you can speak on a stage. You're enabled. So if we teach children in underdeveloped countries how to take care of their homes, how to be more environmentally conscious, how to become educated, that suddenly you kill the cycle of poverty, correct? So it's sustainable. So that's a general theme, but today will be more specific in certain aspects. And I think I was talking with the ladies here, and they were talking about the butterfly effect, which was a continuous theme across these days, and how small things can have big ripple effects. I think the ripple effect thing is very interesting because I was talking to my mother earlier today, and I was thinking, our lives, and even me being on the stage or you sitting down, is the accumulation of decisions. Small decisions that build up together to make you do something, to open a business or to achieve something. So the butterfly effect is a very interesting aspect, I think, about life in general. Anyways, I can talk a lot, so I won't do that. There are certain hashtags where the generation of social media, there's an account. I hope they put it on the screen. There are hashtags that you can use if you're posting, if you want to share your opinions, if you want to talk about a certain aspect, or if you want to have an idea shared. I think you should use these hashtags. So guys in the back, whenever you have a chance, put the hashtags here for the audience. And to formally start the evening, we have an upcoming talk, and I want to introduce the person. So the person I'm going to call on stage is no stranger to collective power and enabling the youth. I just had a quick chat with him, and one of the things that just stuck in my head while he was speaking was youth. How to empower youth, how to make them feel heard. I think that's a very nice aspect, and I'm actually looking forward to listening to him. He was recently named by the UN as one of the 100 most influential people of African descent, profiled by CNN and Forbes as the man who helped 3 presidents win consecutive elections in Africa. So if you need somebody to support you, I think you should use him because he's getting people to win. He's been named CNBC's Young Business Leader of the Year, Forbes 30 Under 30, and Evangelist of the Future. So He's also one of the most recognizable young leaders in Africa. I have to read this from here so I don't make any mistakes. Carrying the message of hope and faith from the continent to the world, and just recently spoke at the Obama Foundation Summit, where the former president of the US, Barack Obama, gave him a standing ovation. So I think that's a nice bio, correct? I would like you to welcome Adebola Williams to the stage to give his speech.
Thank you, Anas. Thank you. The danger of that kind of introduction is that the bar is not so high. And I hope that I don't disappoint you. But it is good to be here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to join you today. And I'm honored to share my journey with you so far as a Nigerian, young, who's completely sold out to helping communities around the world. I am delighted because I have heard some of your stories. And I see in this room smart, brilliant, passionate, and creative young people. I was blown away to meet Fatima earlier, who has invented a robot, who's gone to school on her behalf, and who's intending to then create this same model for children with special needs. Now that is real impact. Imagine a child with Down syndrome or cerebral palsy having to be in school, yet taking care of their special needs. This is true innovation with visible impact and result. And I look in this room, I see fire in your eyes, bright-eyed all of you, young with the ingenuity to change the world. I recognize that fire because I had it in me when I started over a decade ago, and it is still burning. Over a decade ago, I was just a teenager in Nigeria, Africa's largest country, starting a career in media, an industry which was seemingly controlled by a small percentage of the society's elite. Seemed like a foolish move at that time. This was due to the market forces in the industry. At that time, the narrative of the society's reality was in the hand of a select few. My generation, the young people, weren't getting a chance or their voices heard. So, someone had to get a seat on that table. I had a dream. I had a vision to build a media platform to shape conversations, drive agendas, and provoke action amongst communities on the continent of Africa, especially focused on young people. I had a vision to contribute my part to democratizing media by creating an ecosystem of youth voices, giving them a sense of self, bringing them together as a force to inspire each other, helping them to dream, hope, and have faith. Once these were ignited, they were unstoppable because they had found their voices. Over the years, we've been able to create a new narrative for young Africans. We've changed what it means to be young and African, and therefore, we have inspired a new generation of leaders, entrepreneurs, and dreamers. You see, when we started, I was 18 years old. Something that never existed in our part of the world was what we were about to create. We knew no godfathers, we didn't have the money, all we had was hope and faith. And that is what I see in all of you today. In just over a decade, our platforms have grown from just youth development to media ownership and major influence on the continent, up to shaping presidential elections. When we started, we didn't have all the answers. We were just hungry and passionate to solve a problem. And we had something called hope. I'd like to say to you today that hope is a weapon, and there is nothing more powerful than an inspired, empowered, hopeful human being. There is nothing that person cannot do. You have to believe in yourself and in your ability to make your dreams come true. As the great Martin Luther King said, take the first step in faith. You don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step and hope it will lead somewhere. And that is exactly what we did. In your youth, let your hopes run wild. And if you get burnt, you will have enough time to start again. Oftentimes, young people tend to say to themselves, I am too young. I am not qualified enough. I don't have enough resources. My friends, you would never have all the resources you need, but you can always find all the hope you need inside of you. What I have done all my life is to take each day as a mission and face its obstacles and challenges, pushing through as a warrior, determined to get to the promised land. Do not allow your dreams be silenced by doubts. It's all in your head. And you know what? Everyone experiences doubts. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that they kept at it. Let that fear propel you than derail you. Doing it afraid, like me and many others. There's so many pressing issues facing the world, as we know it. And truth is, for all the developments made in renewable energy, wildlife, environmental conservation, and water so far, there is still a lot to do. The level of innovation that got us here cannot take us to the next level. The scale of the dream and the level of skill and passion we need to take the world to the next level has to be bigger. And that is why we need every young person in this room to think more, to push more, to create more. The tremendous changes and developments in the UAE over the last 5 decades is as a result of the dreams of the founding fathers. They dreamt, and they had the foresight to realize that the monoproduct economy could not take this nation anywhere else. And so they diversified, and we have witnessed an impressive way of leadership that has turned the fortunes of this nation around. Now that is legendary stuff. But you know what? This example, however, provides a template for all of you, all around the world, to tackle some of the most pressing issues in a creative way. We need to realize that the dreams of those founding fathers who created Dubai today, that same dream cannot take Dubai to the next level. There needs to be a new level of thinkers. We need a new generation of social entrepreneurs, of thought leaders, of researchers who would bring out of the box creative solutions to the table to solve these pressing needs of the world. And you know, as inventors and innovators, the world will call you mad because they cannot comprehend the depth of your thinking. They would say to you, you're just 12. Imagine someone would have told Fatih, how can you think about a robot? You're just 16. They cannot fathom the depth of your thinking, the width of your imagination. But they did not fathom, neither did they understand Isaac Newton, nor did they understand Steve Jobs, nor did they get Archon George Edward Jr., even Oprah, even Mandela. They were all named mad people. So my friends, you are in good company of madness. I am charging you today to dream bigger than you currently are. You have to, as a matter of necessity, challenge the status quo. You have to retain your sense of wonder. As young people, you wonder, you imagine. Your mind is so vast. You need to retain that sense. You have to question the way things are done today. It is only by doing this that you will make major discoveries on how it can be done better. You have to believe more in the power of your gifts and in the importance of your voice as you lend it to the issues that really matter. The currency of this generation is talent. We live in a world of unlimited possibilities. The internet has globalized and united us as one world. And it has altered the form and structure of communities all over the world. There are no more borders, the way we have never seen before. The right innovation can change the lives of billions of people. Therefore, we have to be intentional, dogged, remain committed to applying our talents to create solutions that will improve communities across the world. Even as we say congratulations to all the winners of the Zayed Energy Prize Awards, I am very inspired by Mr. Suji Nakamura, who won the Prize for Life Achievement 2 nights ago. The LED bulb, which consumes only 10th in consumption in electricity when compared to conventional bulbs, and half when compared to fluorescent lamps, shows that one idea can make a lot of difference. I know what I heard. I heard that when he had the idea, the machine to create the idea didn't exist. So not only did he want to create the LED, he had to invent the machine that created the LED. Just imagine if that man had stopped at an idea and said, listen, because the machine doesn't exist, I cannot move forward. So many African countries are benefiting from the LED today. And that is the power of the connectivity of the world we're currently in. I'll finish by saying this, that because we're more connected more than any other time in history, because we have access to the most important resources of all, human, we must reach out and collaborate with one another as we promote our ideas for sustaining a better world. We must go out of our way to help those in other parts of the world who are in more need. Because if everyone chose to share a solution, we would have a better world, and everyone will have a bit of everything. There is a community that you all belong to. You're part of a movement that is borderless. You're part of a movement that is special. A movement containing Zayed from Abu Dhabi, Wonge from Uganda, Sandra from Lisbon, Peter from Ireland, Jane from London, Shola from Lagos. A community of special people with a burden to change the world with creative actions. Do not let anything or anyone limit you. If an 18-year-old can dream to change the world like I did, and go from just a boy who no one paid attention to advising presidents around the world, then each and every one of you can also. And so like Walt Disney once said, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. This is the core message I'm sharing with you today. Your opinion matters, your dreams matters, your inventions and your creations matters to solve the problems of the world. You just have to believe in yourself and in your ability to make things happen. And most importantly, you have to get started where you are with what you have now. Thank you.
Thanks, man. That was good. The two takeaways for me personally, and I don't know what you guys focused on, but one was how Adebola focused on asking why. We live amongst years and years, our parents, our grandparents, and a lot of things we just take as autopilot. We never sit down and think, why do I do this way? Why don't I fix this in that way? And it's such a powerful thing to just sit down and say, why do I do it this way? How can I do it better? Rather than just be programmed by societies, by countries, by parents to do something a certain way. There's always a better way to do things. So that's the first takeaway that I took from that. And the other thing is sharing. He mentioned how everybody's responsible to do things better or to help others. He mentioned LED and how it affected African countries. And the most beautiful thing about life is not the bling bling and the cars and the nice watches. These are temporary nice things. You'll enjoy your nice watch for the first month or year. After that, it's just another watch. But the thing that brings value to our lives is when we share, when we know that our wealth is helping others, when we know that our advice is making somebody else feel hopeful. That is where I think you should take it as a responsibility. So I'll move on. That was my bit. So from our next speakers, they're from different countries, so different backgrounds, different cultures. However, they do have some common things. They're young, they're past winners of the Zayed Future Energy Prize, and they have made great strides in bringing sustainability to the forefront of not only their own lives, but also the communities, which we were just talking about. So let's start with Lace Higashi. Lace, to give you an intro, is a young Brazilian woman. She studied at the University of São Paulo and has a double degree. I notice people like doing these double, triple degrees now. It's a thing. So double degree in business management from Kedge Business School, if I said it properly, in France in 2016 at the ripe old age of 24. Why did we write old age? Young age. We need to change that. Young age. She became president of Litter of Light Brazil, an organization that brings solar illumination to communities without adequate access to electricity. So I'd love to have you here. We want to hear your story.
Thank you. Hello. So my name is Laís. I'm 26 years old, and as you can see, I'm from Brazil. I know you wouldn't guess. But I am running Leader of Light Brazil there, and just first of all, I wanted to thank so much the Zayed Future Energy Prize for the opportunity to be here and to give this talk, and also for helping us to expand around the world and to grow our impact. It's really has been an amazing experience. So I wanted to start actually with a question. So what is your life purpose? What is it that you are passionate about? And what if you could use this passion to make the world a little bit better? Well, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do when I was a child and a teenager, and the world pushes you somehow to do what's most common, what everybody's doing, and what is safe. But I didn't want to follow this path, you know. I wanted to create, I wanted to innovate, I wanted to see the impact of my actions happening fast. And I started business management, and I found out that was actually a will to be an entrepreneur. And that seems pretty cool. It seems pretty nice. I would have this innovation that I wanted, but somehow it was still not enough, you know. When I was a child, and I think as many children listen, I was told that I should, you know, help the others and care for the world, and to help the world to become a better place for us, and to help those who didn't have the same opportunities that I had. And that's something again that somehow people start to forget as they grow up, you know, and people start to think more about themselves, and that was something that I didn't want to let go, you know. I wanted to maintain this dream alive, and I wanted to do something that really could impact the world. So I decided that I wanted to be a social entrepreneur, and then I could actually cause some impact, and also have the autonomy and the creativity that I was hoping to. So then I started to risk, to test. So I did like junior enterprise in the university and consultancy for NGOs, and then volunteer work, a double degree. And then I even went to Bangladesh to learn about social business, because there they have a hub of social business studies, and I really like it. And in the middle of these trials, while I was searching for exactly what I wanted to do, I found out about Leader of Light. And to introduce you to Leader of Light, did you know that more than 1 billion people don't have access to electricity in the world? And this number for Brazil is like 1 million people. So all these people, they arrive at home, like after the sun goes down, they can't do anything. So they can't, I don't know, talk at home, they can't eat properly, they can't study, they can't work. Like imagine yourself coming to your house and not being able to switch the light on. You know, what would you do? So these people live in these conditions. And Leader of Light is founded because of this problem. So our aim is to light up the communities that don't have adequate access to electricity. That's why we exist. So basically, we have three main solutions. The first one is Moser's lamp, as we call. Maybe some of you have seen that already. It's a plastic bottle with water on the roof. It's a very simple idea. The sun passes through the bottle and spreads the light inside the house. And it's equivalent of a 60 watts lamp. It's cheap, it's affordable, it's simple to make. So that was an invention of a Brazilian who is called Alfredo Moser. He lived in very poor conditions, and he made this for himself in 2001 when there were many blackouts in Brazil. And he did for his house, and then he started to do for his neighbors too. And then suddenly this idea spread all over the world, and in the Philippines, Leader of Light was created. And by luck, who is here today. And then other solutions started to be created because at night when people need the most, they didn't have light. So for example, the second solution is the street light. The street light is a public solution, so it's for lighting up the streets. It has a solar panel on the top that absorbs the light from the sun, and then it storages the energy in a battery, which is inside a box. And at night, it automatically turns on LED light that is inside the plastic bottle. And the third solution is the hand light. So the hand light is this one that I'm carrying here. It's portable, and it's also solar. So we have a solar panel that we connect to it, and then we leave it charging during the day. And at night, we can just take it off and carry the hand light, like use it inside the house or outside the house. It's also a very useful solution for like places that don't have light. And so you can have a better idea of what we do. I'm going to pass a short video about Leader of Light and our work in Brazil.
Está construindo hoje, finalizando um final de semana de instalação de 30 postes de luz solar. Não tem pagamento melhor do que esse relacionamento com a comunidade, a forma como a gente é recepcionado aqui.
Vila Moraes é uma comunidade sofrida. Até parece que ela está num mundo esquecido. Esses meninos que se deslocam de tão longe para vir prestar esse trabalho na comunidade é fora de sério. É uma coisa que a gente imagina que só quem tem amor no coração e quem quer ajudar mesmo faz esse tipo de trabalho.
O nosso objetivo também não é simplesmente fazer, a gente pensa muito em capacitar as pessoas da comunidade. Né? Às vezes você pega uma senhora de 50 anos, 60 anos, tem uma rotina dela ali, do nada ela está construindo um poste, ela fala, olha que legal.
Eu falo que vocês são a luz, né? A luz, porque chegaram para iluminar. Eu tenho muito que agradecer, a comunidade agradece. Graças a Deus, eu falo que Deus que mandou vocês aqui. São anjos de luz.
O projeto aqui a gente está contando hoje com 30 voluntários. Tem gente de outras cidades e até de outro país. Está todo mundo muito empenhado, só gente jovem.
É show, tem nem que falar do trabalho deles, é show. Se todo mundo, cada um se doasse um pouquinho, nossa, a diferença que faz. Aqui hoje está sendo colocado 30 postes, que não existia iluminação pública aqui no nosso bairro. Hoje agora vai estar tendo.
Thank you. So this is what we do. This was our first installation in São Paulo, where I live, and I found out about Leader of Light in 2015 when it was starting actually in Brazil, and I fell in love for it because I think it has the social impact, it has economic impact, it has environmental impact as well. And then I started a team, a Leader of Light team in São Paulo, and in 2016 I was invited to be the president of the NGO. And since then, we started to increase. So now we have more than 200 volunteers. We have more than 7,000 people that were impacted by our lights. And we are in 6 different cities in Brazil, in the 5 regions of the country. And as we grow, the main important thing of all is that we are actually changing lives. So Marinês, for example, she lives in a community in a riverine community in the Amazon rainforest. It's 20 hours by boat from the main city. And she's actually a teacher there, and then she couldn't prepare her classes properly because she didn't have lights, so she had to use candles. It was really tough, and now she has her hand light, and so it really helped her preparing her lessons. And at the same time, she's also a mother, so she has a small daughter, and one of their main concerns there is like to choke because they eat mostly fish and they don't have a good health system, so if something happens, you know, it's really a problem for them. So she can now even eat safely, you know. It's a very, very basic things that they now can do that they couldn't before. And Mike, for example, he, like when we go to the community, we train them. So we take the materials and then we make the lights with them so they can have the knowledge and they can replicate it and maintain it. And Mike, he found out that he really liked electronics, so he started to do a technical course in electronics and is actually changing his life professionally too. And there are many like Mike's and Marinês all over the world and in Brazil that we are impacting, and that is what makes us, you know, work so hard for this cause. That this impact that we are having in their lives is what drives us to do what we do, and what drives all the 200 volunteers to work really hard to make it happen. So I wanted to finish coming back to the same question, you know, what is your life purpose? What is it that you can do like in 50 years from now, and then you can look back and think that you made a difference? What is it, how can you leave the world, you know, a little bit better than when you found it? So I want also to leave with you with a quote that people say is from Aristotle, which is, when your talent meets the world's needs, there lies your vocation. So find your vocation, and when you do, go after it, because when you find a purpose that is bigger than yourself, actually it's a purpose of millions of people, then others will join you too in this dream, in this goal, and then really nothing can stop you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lace. That was very nice to hear, and I can relate. My takeaway from that was something as basic as this, the lights. So basic. If we're in a developed country, it's something that you never even think about. Until one day the electricity goes off for 30 minutes, then everybody's complaining at home. 30 minutes, you can't even take no electricity. And you complain and you're upset, but people are living till today with 0 lights, 0. So from the moment the sun goes down, you have to wait till the sun comes up. And something as simple as just bringing light can change somebody. Clean water, I mean, we can take so many things for granted. A clean bed, nice toothpaste, so many things that when we really think about it, can help a lot of people. So that I thought was really nice, and the fact that you guys train. It's so nice to know that you don't only give somebody fish, but you teach them how to fish. That's sustainability. So I think we've spoken a lot, and it's all one-dimensional. We need to hear more from you. and it's a good timing now. It's Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. So, you know that sustainability can mean so many things. Maybe the people in this room know much more about it than somebody outside. So I thought I'll ask you. I'll ask you this question, and I'd love to hear your feedback about sustainability. What does it mean to you? Is it as simple as segregating plastic from glass? Is it driving your bicycle more rather than driving your car? What are you doing to reduce your carbon footprint? So I'd leave this. Where's the mic, people? Okay, we have one, two. I want the young ones. The young ones who are maybe half asleep now. We want them to answer this question. What does it mean to you? Is it the small things? Is it the big things? What are you doing? We have one here. Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I would actually first like to explain what motivated me towards sustainability and how I got my definition of sustainability. Basically, it was just one day that my teacher asked me why not volunteer to help the KG students in the school. So me and some other few volunteers went, and we had some fun with the kindergarten students, played with them for the day. You know, they felt really happy. And then when we were about to leave, one of the kids just they're so small, they're tiny, and then just one of them just came to me running and gave me a really warm hug and just told me thank you and please come again. And at that moment, there were tears coming out of my eyes because of how much that emotionally hit me, that somebody actually cared about what I did to them. And that is my main motivation for right now being sustainable and helping everybody. So from that, my definition of sustainability was not to just care for the environment, but to be able to share the knowledge and awareness so that everybody together can be happy and help the environment. And it's not only about the environment that we care about, it's also the social and economics that we have to care about as well. Because some people think that being sustainable is only related to the environment, like just the plants, litter less, but it's also about the knowledge we share, the happiness we share, the smiles, the laughs, the jokes. We should all be together in that and share it. That's my definition of sustainability.
Thank you. We didn't get your name. Amir? Good to meet you. So that was nice, and I like to know that there's not only one definition to it. You know, sustainability can be so many things, so many simple things. Next, other than Amir, we need a lady, a girl. أشر عليها وهجها. إنزين. Who can give us their definition? We can't only have guys. Women are killing the guys today in achievement, so we need a woman's opinion. 0? 0, 0, 0? Okay. Yalla, yalla. Tell us.
My name is Fatma.
Hala Fatma.
I was pushed to speak, but no problem.
Yeah, sometimes we need to be pushed.
I think being sustainable, coming from my perspective as an inventor, is when I work on projects, I try to place or follow the vision that the country's following towards creating a sustainable future. So start implementing the new sources of energy, the renewable ones, and also trying to come up with ideas that would sustain till the future. So not an idea that would work now or 5 years from now, but would work generations and generations to go and could be developed year after year. So this is something that I focus on, and I always push other people around me to care for the environment and try to use different things.
How do you do it in your daily life, if I can ask? Even if it's a very, very basic thing. I mean, I notice some people, for example, when they wash their hands, the moment they go to the soap, the water is still running.
Yes.
And he's taking his time with the soap and fixing his... I'm like, the water is still going. And you can just close it, take your time with the wash, and then go back.
So,
Something as basic as that.
I have a really bad habit. When I brush my teeth, I like to keep the tap open.
Why?
I don't know, it's just,
The
it's very
sound?
satisfying to just see the water flow.
I have a lot of water in my house, yeah. So
Just
Okay.
keep it flowing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but recently, like one of my resolutions for 2018 to try to
It's a good
switch it up.
resolution. Yeah.
So I've been working very well for the past few days.
Okay, it's nice to know that you're an inventor and you have this sustainability mind frame, but the issue, I believe, and this is from a guy who's not too much into technology, is that sustainable technologies today are expensive. So you remember when solar panels first came out, it was extremely expensive. Now, it's way more affordable. So I think as an inventor, that's a nice challenge to find inventions that can easily be affordable. You saw the lights that they displayed, it's not expensive. So I think that's a nice challenge to have. Well, thank you. We're even now, guys and girls. So we go to the next. We have more? Okay, Allah, tfaddal.
Hello, my name is Rashid.
Hello, Rashid.
Well, after hearing, what's your name again?
Amir.
Amir. I've noticed that sustainability is a very controversial topic. Everyone views it from another perspective, and everyone has their different opinions of and different mindset of what sustainability is.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, it's leaving the world out as it is for the future generation to see how beautiful it is. I don't want to show my children or grandchildren in the future, inshallah,
Yeah.
pictures of the world now and say, this is how it looked like when I was young at your age.
Yeah.
And not the same. It's not the same as how it is at their generation.
Yes.
So I think that we have to keep the world alive for as long as possible and let the future generation see the beauty of
I
the
think
world.
you should talk to Sarah so she can close the water while she brushes her teeth. That will help. No, Fatma? Sorry,
Fatma.
Yeah. Okay. So I do agree. I do agree that it's a very big dream, but it's nice for us to dream big also, right? What's the point of dreaming if it's small? So it is a very good point. I do believe also that the world will change, whether we like it or not, but we always hope that we change for the better as people, as an earth, as greenery, as pollution goes less, things like that, you know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ah.
Last one.
Now they're coming out. Okay, last one. So it's 2-2 after this. There are
Hi.
penalty kicks. Yeah.
My name is Kristen Francisco.
Hello.
And actually, I did not know the meaning of sustainability just recently.
Okay.
I even Googled what its meaning is.
Really? Why?
Because
don't like
at
Google?
first, I kept thinking, until Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, Masdar reached out to my school asking for who'd like to be ambassadors for sustainability.
Yeah.
I took the job because I was interested. And then
But you
when
didn't know what it was, but you just took it.
I didn't know, yes.
Okay.
But I like the topic of science. I like that.
Nice.
I liked everything about it, but I wasn't really that informed about it.
Okay.
But when I came to Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, I was able to see so much things. It was a very mind-opening experience for me, especially during the opening ceremony. I actually teared up watching all of those videos, motivational videos that they show. Whenever they speak something about changing the future, how small a person, no matter how small a person is, there is a huge impact.
Yes.
And literally every single word that was mentioned made me tear up. It's like, at first, I didn't really know what it was. I was just used to the fact that, yes, we have to recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle, and all of that. We have to follow it for a much better future, right? But you don't really know from a really far. You don't feel it. You don't actually feel it, and you're not really sure if people actually does it because you don't usually see people who does it. But when I came to Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, I was really mesmerized to see all of these companies, innovative projects that even countries from all over the world, some countries are finally finding progress.
Nice.
Especially the African ladies. I was so touched because of that. I was so amazed, and it really gives you motivation and hope that there is still a future, and that despite everything that we can see now, there is much more beautiful things that we can see. And despite the other countries are still suffering. Maybe there are a lot of countries that are still suffering, maybe no electricity. There's still hope for them. And I am so glad that there are a lot of companies who's working towards just individuals, even students like us, spreading awareness. I like how, wow. I said like, but honestly, it was able to inspire me, and I myself want to suddenly talk in front of there and make a difference for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'll give her 2 points. You spoke for 2 people. I love the fact that you actually didn't just say that you enjoyed the week, but it shows that you enjoyed the week. Like it really had an effect on you.
Do you mind if I ask
Amir.
just one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just really curious. How many of you went to the opening ceremony? Okay, almost all of you. Most of you. Just one question. Was it only me, or how many of you felt like crying while
You had
going
one
through the
there.
ceremony? Like, a show of hands, how many of you felt like crying? So it shows how much just a few words can actually affect people.
Yes.
So even if you just say a few words, don't think that it's just gone. It always stays within the heart and mind, and it will affect them eventually. It's just an accumulation of emotions that cause us to push forward.
Thank you. Okay, so that started slow, but it ended very, very well. I'm glad to hear from you guys. So let's move forward so I don't keep you here till your dinner time. Next up, we have 2 young gentlemen who live on the beautiful island of Bali, which, by the way, is on my to-do list. Green School is a school with a focus on sustainability. Built in the jungles of Bali, Indonesia. One of my friends just took pictures there. It's unbelievably beautiful, unbelievably beautiful. Now, in its 10th year, Green School has 450 students between the ages of 3 and 18. The school has developed its own teaching methodology where students learn about sustainability through every subject. That is really interesting, and I'd love to hear about it. Students learn multiplication by estimating energy consumption of light bulbs across the campus, literacy through reading about self-sufficient revolutions based on coconuts, and science through extracting essential oils from the myrid, if I say it correctly, of plants on campus. Mikhail and Harry are both grade 10 students at the high school. They have been working on Operation Rain or Shine, which is Green School's iteration of the Zayed Future Energy Prize, which is nice to know. Their team has included half of the student body in developing as an energy hub, which centralizes the on-campus energy system. I said a lot of complicated words, right? Before our next speakers, I don't want to interrupt you guys anymore. I think I said enough about the guys. I'm actually curious, so if you can please come on the stage and let us know your story. Welcome. For me, I'd love to hear what you have to say, and especially the fact that, because education is a very interesting topic in general, and we can all discuss here how a lot of education is useless in today's world. But when I read this just few bio sentences, it's nice to know that it's practical, that what you teach can be used in life. So go ahead and good luck.
Yeah, thank you. So, I'm Harry, and this is Mikkel. We are students of the Green School in Bali, Indonesia, and we're going to teach you a bit about living in the middle of the jungle.
So our story started like many other students that go to Bali, Indonesia, where we saw pictures of it and some of us Facebook ads and thought, wow, this is really amazing. And then our families decided to move over.
I'm English, but I spent my whole life in Hong Kong, and I was really interested by the architecture there. However, the schooling that I went to, everyone learned the same thing, and we're all at the same level, and I felt kind of tight and restricted. However,
yeah, so my story started in Bilbao, which is in northern Spain. After living there my first couple of years of life, I then transitioned over to the States and then Australia until I finally decided on Bali, Indonesia. Going to the school there after being in such different educative programs around the world really changed my perspective on how teaching and learning was, especially because all of the classes and lessons there were integrated within sustainability and renewable energy.
Moving to the green school was a big step for me because the architecture is completely different. And the schooling there really opened up my eyes because as soon as I moved, within the first week, I could tell that I could open up and I could be myself. And I could learn the things that I wanted to learn, take the paths and pursue the passions that I wanted to pursue.
So along with architecture, the school actually involves projects in all of its classes. So it's very project-based learning, which gives the students their thoughts and their opinions in all the projects around the school. So one of the few examples that we have is Project Orus, which was the Zayed Future Energy Prize project that we had when we were winners of the 2017 award for Global High Schools Asia. Project Orus is a way of involving the whole community, whether it be students, teachers, staff, or the local community around us, in a renewable energy system that incorporated teaching and learning through the whole building. What you see right there, that's an earth igloo. Not only is it an earth igloo, but it's an earth igloo built by kids that were 5 years old, all the way up to 18. And that, I think, is something really cool that can be hands-on in learning.
The biobus at Green School, that bus right there, is completely run off used cooking oil. The biobus is a student enterprise that we collect used cooking oil from around the community. We take it in, we process it at a plant, and we turn it into fuel that can be used for our buses, which reduces the school's carbon footprint.
The incorporation and learning that I got from Biobus was it actually taught me, because I was involved in a project called the BioBike, which was actually making and building a biodiesel motorbike completely from old parts. So we had to weld everything together after using, for the motor, a recycled diesel generator. And that, I thought, really helped me become more passionate as well as more involved in engineering, which is hopefully my college education. So Bye Bye Plastic Bags is a social initiative started by these two girls here, the one just on the second from the left in the middle row and the furthest one on the right. Those are Malati and Isabel. They're two students that go to Green School. And the one on the left is actually goes to our class. And I found it really, really super inspiring, the fact that a girl of our age, actually with her sister, actually started a global enterprise and initiative that is now in 17 countries and has signed a contract with the government of Bali to ban plastic bags.
I myself had the experience of walking along the beach with them, picking up trash and learning about the trash that is in Bali. One of the ways that trash gets to the beach is through the rivers of Bali. So we had a team design a river boom made completely of materials collected by the school's recycling program. And we built a river boom and put it in a river, and it worked.
So as you mentioned, the school has a recycling program, which is Kimbali. And one of the things I find most inspiring as a student is whenever we have project-based learning at school, in many of the classes, if we have to build something physical, it normally starts with the teacher saying, why don't you guys look at Kimbali, see if they have anything? Because we've managed to turn waste into a resource. Kimbali is a project that takes the trash and waste from the local community and the school itself, takes it in, processes it, and sorts it, and then gives it over to the right recycling needs in Bali, which, as you saw in the previous picture, is a big problem.
Every single art class that we have at Green School involves Kimbali in a certain way.
So Cool Connection. Cool Connection is the way that the school itself connects to the local community around it, because we feel that sustainability is not only sustainability for oneself, but it also is sharing that sustainability. And we found that Cool Connection is a great way to do this. They're an NGO and social enterprise that involves nearly 400 students to give English classes after school.
One cool thing about this project is that for every 5 kilograms of trash that the kids bring in, that funds 1 semester of their English education.
We also have students that have been delegates and climate activists. Some of these are friends, and these are just some of the classes that go to the COP Koi events, like the one last year in Bonn. These guys have been changing the world with their climate activism and having to do plays in front of thousands of people, as well as being on committees in the Koi delegation, has really inspired me, knowing that people of our age can really make change, not only in sustainability, but also in governance.
All of our classes at Green School are surrounded by sustainability and integrated with nature. We have math classes learning about Fibonacci through flowers we found on campus. And we learn about science through soap that made from glycerin, which is a byproduct of the used cooking oil production.
I also find that through these classes, as you can see here, little kids are involved with the same projects that middle school and high school kids are. And I find that that is a really great way to integrate not only classes together, but also integrate people together.
The community of Green School is really special, and one of the main aspects and probably the most impressive parts of our school, other than the fact that it's made of bamboo. We have students from grades from pre-kindy to K-12.
Yeah, so we have more or less here 450 students this year, luckily. And also the main thing that I found that Green School actually gives to people is a community that it's surrounded by. So not only is it a community of learners, but it's also a community of innovators and sustainable leaders. When in a class we need some more expertise on something, we might ask a parent, or some kid might have, oh, okay, yes, my uncle or my dad or my mom knows about this topic very, very well. And then we'll bring them into class and they'll help us with our projects in several ways.
The students at the school come from over 40 different countries, so when we get inspiration, it's from all corners of the globe.
So in the end, this is about sustainability. So what is sustainability? It means different things for different people from different backgrounds. But in the end, we all know that at Green School at least, if you take a lot of different ideas from all around the world, you end up having what that is, sustainability. Not only of the self or the planet, but also about cultures. We must sustain cultures' ideas and differences and combine them to have one collective innovation.
It doesn't take a solar farm to be a climate activist.
It takes anybody. You don't need to be Green School or any student from any special school. Every single one of you guys here with one small idea or one small step, like the butterfly effect said, can change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikhail and Harry. That was, I was thinking what I was doing at your age. It's really nice to see, and it's nice to show and be proof that young people can do something, because a lot of maybe old school parents can think that young kids they'll be like, oh, you're just a kid, sit down, or not, don't give me an idea, or don't suggest. But now it's changing, and you guys, I want you to take this as not just a compliment, but a fact, yeah? You're proof that with a bit of support, hopefully maybe from your parents or friends, you've done something. And like you said, it can be small, it can be big, but if everybody does something, you definitely have a collective. Yeah, it's like a football team. I love football, so I always bring an example. A football team, if we all pass the ball, usually we score, unless you're Messi and you pass the whole team, that's different. All right, guys, so we have a polling quiz time. So I'll be curious to see the results here. You have all of your remotes on your seats. I'm going to put questions about sustainability, and I want to see your answers. So everybody has a remote in their hand? Okay. And do not click more than once. One time for each question, so we have as accurate as possible. All right. So we've talked a lot about sustainability. This quiz will revolve around that. Can we start with the first one? Everybody's clear on this? Can you go back one more? Back. Can you go back one slide? I just want to make sure everybody's clear. You can't? Oh, you can't go back. That's how time goes. Time, you never can undo time. All right. So I think it's quite easy, yeah? It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, and A, B, C, D, yeah? All right. So what country uses the most wind power? Denmark, Germany, China, and Canada. I'll stand on the side. The countdown. So no thinking, just answer. All right. Oof. Okay. Denmark. We'll go to the next one. Next question. How many people don't have access to a proper toilet? 1 in 5, 1 in 3, 1 in 10, 1 in 23. Okay, a little note. The green is the actual correct answer. Just to let you know. So the question before that, you guys were extremely wrong about Denmark. Poor Denmark. Okay, here you're not bad. It's the third most clicked. Can we go to the next one? Number 3. How long does it take to biodegrade a disposable diaper? 50 years, 100 years, 450 years, 200 years. Let's see. Oppa. Imagine, huh? 450 years for a diaper. It's not great, guys. We need to go back to tree leaves instead of diapers. Okay, number 4. How much water do we need to make a sheet of A4 paper? 5 liters, 20, 1 liter, half a liter. A4 page, so it's this big. I want to take part of this quiz. Oh, finally. 20 liters of water? 20. Can you think about that? That's a lot of water. Ah, it is right now. How did that change? Somebody clicked extra. All right. Number 5. Question number 5. At any given time, how much energy does Googling use up? Enough to power 100,000 homes, or 200,000 homes, or 1 million homes, or 75,000 homes? That's an interesting question. Ah, not bad. Not bad, guys. You see, the more we come closer to the internet, you do better. Enough to power 200,000 homes. Okay. So is there one more slide to see the results of everything or not? Not. Okay. So as you can see, we're not the best at these quizzes, but it's nothing wrong with that. Even if we know that we don't know enough, we can know enough. We can learn more. Yeah? We can educate ourselves. Even me, I'm not very good with this, but I need to learn. And today I'm learning. So now I want to get the chairs on the stage because I have 2 ladies, 2 impressive ladies that I'm going to have a cool discussion with. And I hope you guys enjoy that. So the next part will be Aisha Saeed Harab and Jawahar Al-Meheri. They have long bios, guys, so you have to bear with me. They're young, but they do a lot. Okay, so we'll talk about sustainability. Do you want me to say your bios before you sit down so you don't feel awkward? Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so before I get them on the stage, Aisha Saeed Harab is a social entrepreneur. Her whole family, by the way, is active. I know the whole family. They're all, like you can tell, it's from the house. It's the way they were brought up. With a focus on corporate social responsibility and philanthropy. With 10 years of experience already, she was recognized as a UAE pioneer in 2017 as the founder of the region's first e-store, focused on philanthropy, which is the e-store. Aisha currently serves as head of corporate social responsibility within the Community Development Authority of Dubai's government. It's very long, right, that name? She also coordinates the National Service Youth Council and is a member of the Dubai Council affiliated through Ministry of Youth. So it's pretty cool, guys, yeah? I know bios can be boring, but they're interesting also at the same time. Jawahar. Jawahar Meheri is 25 years old and speaks 5 languages. She is a young diplomat, a student at Emirates Diplomatic Academy holding a Master's of Science in the Excellence in Environmental Management and a Bachelor of Science in Aviation Management. I'm telling you, you guys, you have all these crazy majors together. I was talking to some of the boys here today, and they all have double majors, and so interesting. You said you were studying political science and psychology, something like that, right? Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, going back to the bio. So she was a member of the Dubai Youth Council, Young Future Energy Leaders Program, Country Ambassadors, and Young Leadership Program with the United Nations Development Program. She actively represents the youth internationally and voices the opinions of the Emirati youth in international platforms, also taking part in the United Nations Climate Change Conference with the UAE's young delegation. So, now you can come. أهلاً. مايك صحيح عنكم.
Thank you, Anas.
My pleasure. It's nice to sit down and only 100 people watching us. So, okay, so I'll start. We'll make this as casual as we can, guys. So you can interrupt each other. And I'm going to direct the question to one of you, but if the other person has something to say, please, let me know. So to begin with, we'll go further. Juwaha. As we're sitting with an audience, as you can see from literally everywhere, it's really beautiful to know that so many people, I think the more I see, there's a mix of people, the more I realize human beings are all the same. Same needs, same basic requirements, and we're all kind of one. So my question is revolving around that. Do you think that the generation is looking beyond borders and working across countries to come up with solutions to help combat climate change? Do you believe that there is, let's say, a cohesiveness in that?
Okay. My mic is on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I strongly believe in this. I've been reading a lot about our generation and their contribution towards the sustainability and towards saving the earth. Our generation and the Generation Z is strongly active in this. They feel that they have a responsibility on their shoulder towards the earth, towards the environment, towards saving their future and the future to come. So they noticed that. And to share this, I have shared it in the opening ceremony too. When I went to the UN conference on climate change, I was around with young people, the youth, and I was amazed how much interested they were about the climate change. They are very young, students in school and the universities, but the level of awareness is high, which is very impressive, and this shows that the earth is on the safe hand. I strongly believe that the generation is aware and they will do their best to save the environment.
Okay, I can tell that you're a really good speaker and you're passionate, which
Thank
is always
you.
a good
Thank
combination. Okay, so Aisha, you saw the quiz, you saw the results of the quiz, which were probably not very impressive.
I wasn't proud of myself.
This one?
Yeah, I didn't answer any.
For me, it's not about a failure. I never call, this topic always bothers me, is when people say, I failed the quiz, or I failed an exam, or I failed in my business. I would never call these people failures. A failure is a person who gives up, who says, okay, I did bad in the quiz, I don't want to learn anything anymore.
Sure.
But we saw this, we're not proud, like you said.
No, we're not. We're
But
learning.
what do we do tonight? Do we go and watch a documentary? Do we go on Google? Do we read more? That is the improvement. So we'll go with your question. As you saw, the results, they weren't impressive. However, today in this world population, 40% are under the age of 24. So personally, do you see this young drive and the young energy that we have with the youth as an opportunity for the youth to drive change and make an impact? Do you really, and let's not be cheesy about it, yeah? Do you really believe it?
Of course I do believe, and that's a good news actually, that there's a high number of
قربي
youth.
عشان نسمعك.
That's a good news actually, a high number of youth under they're very passionate about driving change.
Yes.
I think they're very well aware, as my sister Jawahar said, that they're highly aware about environment issues, and I believe the future is promising. With
You do, huh?
Yes, of course, certainly, because the knowledge they have, the knowledge they know, they're very highly equipped into solutions and being very impactful. So basically, I think the future is promising.
Okay.
Anas.
The good thing, guys, is we're asking two young ladies who are actually in this field. If I'm asking two random young ladies in a shopping mall, they might not give me the feedback that I'm looking for. But I'm asking two people, and even this is good for me because I don't know exactly how promising it is. But when I listen to you ladies who are going to these events and who are listening and who are studying this.
Actually, let me share with you an example.
Sure.
I sit on a board with my sister Jawahar in Dubai Youth Council. And also we're obliged, believe it or not, we're very optimistic, our government, to fly to Mars and to build a city there using renewable energy. So believe it or not, youth are operating Mars in the future. And we're working with them, and there's youth council for that, based on renewable energy and the new resources solution. So basically, that's why I'm telling you the future is promising.
And in that example, what I'm gathering is that I'll tell you guys what I also think is the problem. If the youth have a vision and have ideas, it's one thing, right? And if the government doesn't recognize that or doesn't support it, you're kind of lost because you have these ideas, but nobody's giving you the backing or the financial support. But the idea and the project that you just mentioned about Mars, that means there's a collaboration. The government recognizes the need and the dream, and they're supporting the youth energy. So that's a magical formula, I would say.
And that's happening in the magical country. Yes. We can see it in the UAE that 2016 was a remarkable time for all the young people, where the first youth minister was appointed. She was only 22 years old, and that was the first moment where every young individual in the country felt that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Every young individual in the country had to accept the fact that he can dream as much as he wants, and he know that he will make it to that level. Yeah. He will be one day leading the country. He will be one of the decision makers in the country.
Yes.
So that's the thing. Yes, Dr. Anwar. Of course, I'll say she. Yes, for she.
Okay. So I'll go to the next question, ladies. It's been proven, and this is on the woman support that I'm hearing here. So this is a question about that. It's been proven that women are more efficient at conserving energy. How do you see the role of women evolving, especially when it comes to driving the sustainability agenda? And this will go to you, Jawahar. How do you see that? You're talking about women empowerment, and there is a piece of research that says they're very good at conserving energy, better than us, the guys. So how do you see that role in the woman responsibility?
I think women are good in everything, not only in saving energy. No, truly. I strongly believe and agree with the fact that all the hard work, it starts with a woman. And the generation of people and everything, it's because the woman. So I respect the fact that she plays a huge role, even when it comes to the sustainability agenda. People always tend to think that, as Amir mentioned, sustainability is not only about saving on energy or the environmental aspect. It's about the society, it's about your economy. And it's very evident in the country, in the United Arab Emirates, that women is playing a huge role in the society and in the economy. We have a huge number of women as a working force in the country.
Yes.
We have a huge representation of women in politics and in the decision-making boards and levels. So this is very evident that women are playing a very huge role in the sustainability agenda. And also the sustainability goals of the United Arab Emirates is led by a woman. Her Excellency Reem Al-Hashmi is doing her best to make sure that we achieve the Agenda 2030.
You know, she also leads Dubai Cares. And Dubai Cares NGO is the one I had experience in. And the interesting thing is they approach philanthropy through a sustainable lens. in teaching people and educating primary education for kids, because that's Sheikh Muhammad's long-term objective, to break poverty. So on that point, Aisha, before I go to your question, when we talk about the woman's role on a bigger scale, you can also talk about the woman's role, even, like you said, it starts with the woman, right? So even her kids, if a mother is very aware about sustainability, she will teach her kids. And if she doesn't have kids, she will push her husband or her mother or her sister. So it's a very interesting aspect, and I think it comes within their nature to teach.
I think they're responsible by nature to be responsible, and they're super women. They're warriors. They can handle anything. Believe me, through under pressure, women are amazing. I was inspired by Muhammad Yunus. I don't know if you heard about him. He's a professor. He's a Nobel Women Prize. He established social business.
There was a picture of him earlier.
Yeah. He's my mentor, actually. And he established Garmin Bank.
Yes.
He won Nobel Prize by microfinancing. And he didn't give them money. He didn't loan money to men because he didn't believe in men. But he loaned money to who? To women, because they're very responsible.
They're caretakers also.
Yeah, they're caretakers.
Yes. Okay, we'll go. I think we're very established that women rock, I think now. So number 4, the question is for you, Aisha. So it's an exciting time for youth and for them to carve out their futures, their goals. And I have a list here of very interesting job titles.
I'd add to it.
Okay, then I'll ask you and you add to it. So the job titles that I have here, guys, are ranging from Chief Amazement Officer, Master of Disaster, Director of First Impressions. So it's nice to see that, right? It's different. And I wanted your advice for students who are, they're looking for jobs or creating jobs that don't even exist.
Exactly, and this is the time where you can create any job you want. Inshallah, this what would make you unique as a student. So believe in what you want to create. Master the thing that you want to create. Inshallah, this year, I'm going to launch community engineer. Anybody heard about it? No. So basically, I'm linking community and social work with being an engineer. And Fatma Al-Ka'bi, she's part of it, inshallah. So it's a surprise. I don't want to ruin it. But what makes me unique, or what makes you unique, is to have faith, to believe in what you want to achieve. And the government is fully supportive and opening doors to that.
You said you had maybe another title. Is the community engineer?
Probably. Why not?
That's pretty
Surprise.
Cool. There are really interesting, really interesting titles. I mean, that are already established. There is also Chief Social Media Officer.
There is happiness.
There's the happiness title now that we have in the UAE, Minister of Happiness. I mean, why not, right? Why not? So the last question, and this is for both of you. So in one sentence, describe what your perfect, sustainable world looks like if money and resources weren't an issue. That's pretty cool.
I think for me will be the sustainable city, right?
World.
The world, sustainable world.
If the money was not an issue, you have the support.
I think for me is a world which believes and have the faith on the youth. When it comes to money, I think the right investment is to the and into youth. If that is happening in the right way, then the whole world will be sustainable. You can save today's generation and future's one.
When you say investing in the youth, what do you mean? Because it's a very big statement.
See, for me, the biggest and the number one investment is to making sure that youth are educated. Education is the ultimate solution to each and every problem that the whole world is facing today. So that's the ultimate goal for the sustainability. It starts with the education.
Yes.
Thank you.
Aisha.
Okay, for me, in a nutshell, what is sustainability is being responsible in everything you do. From the way you live, from the way you eat, from the way you give, from the way you work. So just be responsible and be caring about who you might harm in the future. So basically, I'd link corporate social responsibility, sustainability equals to being responsible.
I think that's very, very good point. Thank you. I mean,
Anas,
we live.
if I
Yeah,
may
Joa.
add,
Yeah,
please,
of course.
I also see the sustainable word is a very inclusive word that doesn't discriminate between anyone. And yes, we do say that women are the future and they are the best. But yeah, I mean, a sustainable word is an equal word where every individual feels that he is equal to the person sitting next to him or standing next to him, whether he is from the part of the society where they feel that they are less empowered, whether physically or educational wise, or whether he's someone who's empowered, but still he thinks that he is left behind. So, I mean, a sustainable world is a world where no one is left behind and everyone is equal.
I think also what Aisha mentioned before I close this session, the fact that we have to feel responsible, guys. I mean, I noticed from my experience in today's world, a lot of the youth are the most inspiring, and a lot of the youth can be very selfish. And I'll tell you what I mean. Because we all live, not only the youth, I don't want to only put this on an age group, but we all live in a time where a lot of people, everything is about them. My social media followers, or what car do I have, or what am I doing? Is this convenient for me? Should I go to the supermarket to get my mother something, or should I just tell her to get the driver or get an Uber? So it's becoming a world that sometimes can take you away from thinking of what Aisha mentioned, responsible. Nobody wants to be responsible, everybody wants convenience. So it's important to feel responsible, not only for you, for your brother and your sister, but for your neighbor, for the one next door, for your community. Just a very quick, very simple thing that we all see. Sometimes when I'm walking around the street, if I see somebody throw the cigarette from the car on the street, I'll stop them. I'm like, would you do that in your house? Would you throw anything like that on your house? No, I wouldn't. Okay, then pick it up. Pick that up and put it where it's supposed to be, because if you don't feel any belonging to your country or a guest country, even if I'm in London or New York, I have to respect that land. So that's also the sense of responsibility that you're talking about. So thank you, ladies. I really enjoyed talking to you. I hope you guys did. Yes, you can go back to your seats.
I see a hand from Amir and some audience.
The questions, I don't know. Do we have a chance for questions? Okay. Let's go with a few questions.
Yes, Amir. I remembered his name because I really loved his comment.
The mic, where's the mic person?
Yes, Amir, you're wonderful.
Second row in the middle, he's the first one to put his hand up. Yes, the one who stood up.
Thank you. I'm Pankaj Patel, and we are SME winner in Zayed Future Energy Prize 2014. About sustainability, I would like to add two perspectives to the group. One is about environment leakage. And second, sustainability cannot be seen in isolation of ecology. In whole week, we talk more about man action, man to man, because we as a human race do a lot of imbalanced thing in a nature. And we does impact on biodiversity. So all our action or act must be taken in respect to ecology. For example, in Malaysia, there are a lot of palm trees. They are considered as man-made forests, but they are not sustainable because they are monolithic. And there they break the biodiversity. So we need to add this biodiversity in our act. This is one. Second, about the environment leakage. For example, we have a factory in India. We have 1,200 people. We serve tea to them. We need milk. And there is a village just 500 meters away from my factory. This milk never has entered to my factory, but it has gone to dairy, which is 60 kilometers away. It might have processed there and might have come to my campus. So milk could not travel 500 meter, but it took 120 kilometer. And that is called environment leakage. And we need to understand the negative impact because of unwanted movement of man, material, and processes. I think this lifestyle change is also required to achieve better degree of sustainability.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I would just like to complete the comment on Aisha's perfect world. She said that everybody has to be responsible. About 2 days ago, on Monday, there was a quick talk by Dr. Odie. He is a professional speaker. And I was listening to him, and he said two things. One was that those people who want to be successful do things that the unsuccessful people don't. And he was giving an example of waking up early in the morning at 6:30 and going to a business meeting to be able to help, to like learn more. Because most people wouldn't wake up that early to go for just a meeting. And the second thing was that in order to be successful, you need to be selfless. We need to start caring about others more than we care about ourselves. Because the more we care about others, the more we'll just satisfy ourselves. We just automatically, it's like a equal thing that the more you make somebody else happy, the happier you get. Same thing with money. Right now, I feel like most of the youth, I may be mistaken, but this is my personal opinion. Youth care, their main motivation is gaining money and finance. As you said, the bling bling. But the thing about money is that if that's your drive, you will always give up. As you get into an obstacle, you do not have anything strong enough to push you and break through that obstacle. You guys need to find a proper motivation to like go through that obstacle, to jump over it or like break through it. You have to have a proper desire, a proper push, not value or money. And I also wanted to talk about responsibility. I once did in Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan myself. So once I did a small research, just a personal one. I wanted to see how it affected people. So in front of my house, there's a small park. And one day I littered in the park, okay, on purpose. I like dropped some garbage. And I wanted to see that how does it grow or what happens to it. So I stayed there the whole day and just kept on watching. Nobody picked it up and people kept on littering over there because it was already dirty. Nobody cared. Everybody was just dropping more and more and more. Then the next day, I did the opposite. I cleaned the whole place to make it sparkly clean, and I wanted to see now what would people do. And what do you expect was the result? Nobody littered over there the whole day. And whenever somebody dropped just one can, like, there's always the odd one out. You cannot have a perfect world. I used to just pick it up and throw it. Like, only about 4 to 5 people actually littered on that day. It just shows that how a small difference can cause such a huge result. That's also the theme of this Zayed innovation, the ADSW, the butterfly effect. Small changes can cause a huge effect.
Thank you,
Thank
Amir.
you, Amir.
Change
Amazing.
maker.
Next time we need the chair for Amir, please.
Yes. He needs
Sure,
to
you
be
can
here.
have my number after this.
Thank you. No, here, not there, here. I'm going to thank the ladies. Thank you for your time and for your input.
Pleasure.
Shukran. Okay, everybody, we're coming towards the last few minutes, I would say. I would like to put something on the screen which is very interesting. It's a collective word cloud, yeah, from the Sustainability Week. So as you can see, let me stand on the side. A lot of words have been going around with this week, a lot of, let's say, keywords. And you can see how sustainability is the main word, obviously, but interesting words like sharing knowledge, like helping others, like happiness, hope. I mean, a lot of the young generation can say a lot of these are cheesy words, but there is a relevance to having them repeated this much, right? To have them here is important. That means these things are what really make us valuable in this world. You know, sharing, helping, having hope. These are the positive things that I would love everybody to take away. You can take pictures, of course. This is a good slide to have. All right, guys. So this brings us to the last segment of tonight. And the interesting and fun thing now we are going to be treated by a performance, and the performance will be by the 2014 Zayed Solar Academy in Malawi that was founded then, and they wanted to appreciate, they wanted to thank and show it in their own way in results of the Zayed Future Energy Prize. So this group of talented singers from Malawi have been chosen to express it in the way that they will display it here on the stage. Please welcome them. Thank you. We need a clap, right? Yeah. That was the best part. Thank you. I think they're expecting me to say bye. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. It was really nice to have you.